Kirby Allison, founder of the Hanger Project. I'm here today with Joe Hemrajani, founder of MyTailor.com, to talk about the elements of craftsmanship and quality whenever it comes to dress shirts. Joe, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thank you for inviting me.
And we're excited to finally have you here. So Joe's been making shirts for me for the better part of 7 years, and I would call Joe probably my primary shirt maker. So I've got a ton of beautiful and fantastic shirts in my closet from Joe. And one of the things I really appreciate about Joe is, you know, he's been in this industry for such a long time and he's been so passionately interested in it that there's few people I have found as knowledgeable about this topic as him. So we're very excited to have him in this office to share that knowledge with all of us. In part one of this three-part series of elements of craftsmanship and quality, we're gonna be talking about construction. So Joe is going to walk us through some of the different details that you'll find in one of his Hemrajani shirts that really differentiate a well-crafted shirt from something that is ordinary and commonly available.
It will start with the stitching, which is, you know, how you put the shirt together. And this does have the 21 stitches to an inch. I think this high-end fabric demands that stitching. So you don't see it from even 2 feet away. Really fine, and you can see it. Whether you have it a 1/4 inch away from the edge or right on the edge.
So we're talking about 21 stitches per inch. So that's the number of stitches that the sewing machine is doing per inch.
Exactly.
And the reason that a higher, I guess, density is considered higher quality is why?
It doesn't show up, and especially for finer cloth, it matches. Like this has so many threads per inch. It doesn't even distort the fabric. It just blends in.
I mean, it really comes down to finesse. You know, that the tighter those stitches are, the more kind of finesse and the neater this is.
Yes.
And then also one of the things is as you back away from it, you know, this sewing element really kind of disappears because again, the stitching is so fine.
Of course, this shirt is made with the non-fused interlining, which is nice when it's laundered.
So so you say non-fused versus fused. What does that mean?
So this is an interlining that is fusible. So it has like a glue in the background, in the back, which is heat pressed and glued onto the fabric.
And so you're actually gluing the
top
layer of this fabric to a piece of interlining. And why is that done?
It's done to keep it nice and clean. You know, people don't want to press it. They want an easy care, and it's a no-brainer for the cleaners. They just have to press it.
Yeah.
And when you have non-fused, you may have some wrinkles, but it's natural.
And non-fused means that you still have an interlining.
You still have an interlining.
It's just not glued.
Not glued.
So
this is a glued.
Glued. Okay, so here's the interlining in the back.
Which is laminated on or glued on or
And so the function of this interlining is to essentially give the collar and the cuffs extra body and stiffness.
Yes, and you can have this in lighter or heavier.
Depending on how stiff you'd like it.
Right.
So like a Turbo and Nasser, I mean, they're
It's
particularly well known for their heavy fused collar and cuffs.
Oh yeah, and they have a non-fused collar.
And they have a non-fused collar also, yeah.
So this one is a fused lightweight, so it's not too heavy, but you can double this up and make it really nice and heavy. So the next one here is a floating canvas. So that's the fabric layer, that's the interlining layer, and that's the bottom layer.
Okay, so if you have a floating canvas collar, then it's interlined and it's sewn, right? So it's secured by the sewing, the stitches.
Yeah, it takes 30% longer to stitch this kind of collar. And it takes more skill to do these collars than to do a fused collar.
Okay.
And you can feel the difference. This is the fused. You can feel.
Yeah.
When you scratch it and you do it on the non-fused, there's no noise, and it rolls softer.
Softer.
It has a nice cast roll to it.
I mean, the height of the collar is really a function of the client's neck. Right. So you want a collar that is high enough on the back to kind of conceal the neck without being so high that it is, you know, jetting out of the suit jacket collar.
Yes. So this has, and again, you want to have a nice swoop here so you can fit the tie without affecting.
What about the gap here in the front? I mean, that's another
personal preference.
Okay.
That's a tie space. You can have it, some people like it really kissing, or you can have it a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch.
When you say personal preference, I mean, someone that's tying a large knot probably would need more of a gap.
More for tie space, yeah.
Okay.
And,
so this is the collar band right here.
yes.
Right? And then the collar sets into this.
Right.
And then you cut this away. And so what's the function of that?
Function of it, it doesn't roll over. So, and it's a single layer here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, as you can see closely, this is cut on a bias, so it rolls nicely.
So
and this prevents from rollover.
Yeah.
Like when you wear your shirt for a long time, sometimes you'll find it, creeping up on you. So this helps a little.
Okay, so what Joe is saying is that if you don't have that element there, there's a lot of fabric right here at the back of the neck.
3 layers.
3 layers, and so sometimes it's not pressed perfectly flat. And so if you see the collar band peeking out from underneath the collar, it means kind of one or two things. One, the shirt wasn't cut properly, right? So there's not enough collar to cover this up. Or it can just simply mean that the collar wasn't pressed properly.
Or crept up.
Or it just kind of rolls up during the day.
Yes.
And so whenever I'm pressing my collars, one of the things that I'm always checking to make sure is that I'm folding this over, kind of right here at the edge, and then really pressing this as hard as I can to keep that tight. But this element right here just helps kind of lock that that much more.
And it's,
and I've never seen this on any other shirt that I own.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, what are some of the other elements of kind of construction?
Yes. And then, you have the French front, which is folded over twice. So it gives it some body here.
Some body.
And then we stitch down so it doesn't open up. And you've got the 3-fold French seam on the side. It doesn't make it more durable, but it's a nicer looking. It's not thick and it's not a 1/4 inch wide. It doesn't have double stitching, so it just lends to the high quality.
Again, here on the cuff, we've got, this is unfused.
Also non-fused, yep. The starch. So, and then you have the stitching so that we put it recessed so that when you have 2 stitching at very close to each other, there's chances that they don't sync, and then you'll have a little bit more pucker. This gives it a very clean look.
Okay.
Again, you don't see it. If you had 2 stitching, you may be able to see it shows up more. This just shows nice and clean.
Yeah. Okay, and then what about, so this one has a
split yoke.
Split yoke. Right, so talk to me a little bit about that. There's 2 ways to do this. One is a split, right? And then the other one would just be this is one piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you have very square shoulders, this one piece looks good enough for you. But if you have a slope, this is nice. And split yoke, because the fabric is cut on a bias, just gives you a little more stretch.
So this doesn't have any pleats on the back, but it does have darts right here. So talk to me about those 2. And
pleats just allows slightly extra forward movement, just slightly.
Okay.
Okay. And the darts, you can't have both. You can, but it's better to have one or the other. This is a negative dart, so it takes fabric out. And this one is a positive. The pleat
is adding fabric.
Adding fabric.
So you'd have a pleat if you wanted more room.
More room,
right?
And it's a style element.
And a little bit more body.
Yeah,
right.
It's a more style element also.
And you probably do what are they? English pleats, the side pleats, right? Versus the 2 pleats in the middle, which is more of an American detail.
The box pleat is more for a button-down shirt.
Okay.
And it's typically goes with the placket front, the box pleat in the back,
and the button-down collar. Okay.
And then with the hang loop, if we can do that.
And what about? I mean, so the pleats are what's kind of creating the shape here.
Yes.
Right.
And if somebody has a sway back, the darts just
kind of help keep this.
Keep the shape. Keep the sway in the back.
I'm Kirby Allison, founder of the Hanger Project. Thanks for joining us in this 3-part series of elements of craftsmanship and quality on bespoke shirting. Let us know what you think. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section below. We love getting back to those questions directly. Any questions for Joe, I can relay on to him and get back to you on. Let us know what you think. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and of course, make sure you subscribe to our channel because we've got this and many other great videos coming soon. Thanks for joining us.